Hey everyone, hope you guys are all having a good day. Of course, many of you guys are not because cryptocurrency is coming down very, very hard. So we're going to have to talk about that today, plus some other news. But before that, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment your favorite token and why. I appreciate that. So starting off with the news here today, before I get started with Bitcoin, this is just a little bit of a bright spot for my day right now. Tesla shares up after Elon Musk says he is set for victory in the $56 billion pay vote. I've been hoping that this was the outcome for a while because I was afraid Elon Musk might actually leave and go work on a number of his other companies out there. But the fact that they are about to do all this AI work here and it's going to stay within Tesla, and on top of that, we're looking at some good news with all these robo taxis and things like that. I'm super, super excited. I'm waiting for them to really pop here. So I'm going to continue to dollar cost average Tesla and hope that I can continue to go much, much higher from here. Now, over to crypto. I don't want to talk about too much about CPI here. We know it came in at 3.3%. We were expecting 3.4. That was cooler than expected. Absolutely fantastic news. However, the Fed came in, and this is where I personally made my biggest mistake of the day. I thought Jerome Powell was going to be dovish, like he had been dovish the past, 4 or 5 months? But no, he came in hawkish all of a sudden. And I think this was a big mistake on his part, not because Bitcoin came back down, but because I think he started to bow to public pressure here a little bit. And it's going to be curious to see what happens. So, long story short, Bitcoin gives back gains as hawkish Fed cost bulls a trip to 70,000. Something has never been more true. We were on our way. Everything was looking good. The Fed came out and they said, hey, we're only going to be doing one rate cut this year, or that's the consensus. Now, with more good CPI numbers, that'll most likely go to 2. We're hoping, though, and we're guessing that the CPI is going to continue to stay low or at least start trending more towards that 2% target that they keep on talking about. However, what really happened here that I think you guys need to focus on is the Federal Reserve. They're terrified of being late. They're terrified when the whole media establishment's against them. And you started to hear about that over the last few months. Like, maybe they're not understanding that inflation might continue to go higher and higher and higher. And while I think they're doing a few different things, I believe they're starting to bow to that position a little bit. Now, at the devil's advocate side of this, I do think there's a couple things they were looking at that most of you guys probably weren't. Biden right now is manipulating the oil prices by releasing oil from the strategic reserves. That's also something that you guys should be aware of, because if he manipulates the gas prices cheaper, that kind of affects everything going down, because a lot of stuff uses gas to get from point A to point B to point C, all the way to point Z, if you get what I'm saying there. And I wonder if he wasn't calculating that into the numbers. That's not a huge excuse, but I think that's part of it. The other thing here was he was asked a very specific question during that press conference yesterday. And it was about, from the time you guys saw the information with the CPI did this morning, did people actually adjust their statements or their readings for being this hawkish for the Fed meeting today? And he pretty much kind of skipped over the question. He says there's a mechanism for them to do that, but I won't comment if anybody actually did or did not. That leads me to believe that they already had all this stuff set in stone. They didn't really want to change it because, of course, that would take a lot of effort and work on the staff of those people. And they just didn't want to change their minds even after they had that cooler than expected CPI report. So I do believe that when push comes to shove, we will have 2 rate cuts this year. Right now, I believe people are most likely going to be pricing it in for November and not December. And that's some of the move you saw here. Personally, I still believe it's going to happen in September, but I'm still betting on CPI data to be cooler or meeting expectations for the next couple months. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Now, as far as the Bitcoin technicals, you guys can see a whole bunch of stuff here as well. I'm just going to be straight with you guys. Like I said before, this is still not the time to be swing trading. Although we have a bullish chart here on the long-term one, I am dollar cost averaging because of that. But as far as holding for a week or 2 weeks, the MACD is still bearish, the RSI is still bearish, and the stochastic right here is bullish. However, not everything is aligning towards the heaven, so I'm still not looking for a great opportunity here for swing trading. I'm just not. Day trading still seems to be the best thing, and even these day trades, because of course the weekly chart is still so sideways, you only end these trades for about 10 hours at this point, maybe 7 hours, depending on how long you really want to hold this, and that gives you a breakout with a change of character, with momentum, and then you're hitting some type of level of resistance. So let's talk about all that right now. So short term right here, Bitcoin's barely holding on to the 50-day moving average at this point. You can see everything pointing towards a more bearish move. If we start breaking back down right here below 66,300, we will most likely have a red change of character that pushes us all the way back down here towards $62,000, which would be abysmal. We might have a pit stop right over here around 620. I think that'd be okay. I think that'd be much more like a pop like this, drop, pop, drop, not something where we pop and we hold for a while longer. I do think it to be something more of an aggressive move, and that would really be punishing altcoins because, worst case scenario for Bitcoin comes back down to 62,000. That's not bad. Altcoins, though, you better believe there's going to be some bad news there. So just understand that. Right. So in the short term here, what I want you guys to focus on is the 4-hour chart has just turned bearish again. These technicals over the last 24, 48 hours, I'm not paying attention to them too much just because of how nasty everything is, and how volatile everything was because of the news. So because of that, I'm mostly looking at a level of support where you might be looking to buy. I know the daily chart is still bearish, but this is going to be a day trade pop where maybe it gets back up a little bit more before ultimately trying to retest the support level down here around 65,000, or more precisely 64,600 level, okay? On the 1-hour chart, things are looking a little bit better, I would say. Still holding, still having some issues here, but again, this is that level of support. If you guys do want to buy, give it another 3-4 hours and see if it's still holding. That's when you guys are most likely going to buy, waiting for that momentum to shift just in your favor. Because right now, it's still much more of a long shot to even want to trade at this point in time. So when we're looking at all of this stuff, Bitcoin at this time, long term, still very, very bullish. Don't get me wrong. Short term, we could definitely have a pushback down here to at least $64,000 and seeing what happens after that. Ethereum down a lot as well. 50-day moving average here. This could push all the way back down here towards $3,000. So I want you guys to understand this volatility here. It's not good for altcoins. Bitcoin will survive. That'll be fine. Solana right now, still getting back to that level of support. A lot of tokens right now are still dealing with a lot of issues. Some of those that have very low market caps like Miro, they've come down very, very heavily. Even some of the things like Bonk. Bonk had a really good move yesterday, came smashing back down today, breaking the low we've had over the past few days. All of that stuff matters. So I would recommend, as far as what I'm doing, because I'm not a financial advisor, I'm still going to dollar cost average. I'm still going to be very happy to do so because I know Bitcoin will go up eventually. But as far as these swing trades, they are like absolutely not in the picture for me at this point in time. You guys can do what you guys want as well. I'm not your nanny or anything like that. But it seems like swing trades are off the menu. Day trading is on the menu, but even right now, it's not even a great day trading opportunity. The best one was yesterday with all those moves we saw with the data coming out. But that might have been a little bit more risky for a lot of you guys out there. The dollar index right now is still pumping higher on the weekly chart. That is not what we want to see. The 1-hour chart here after that news, it came all the way back up here because, again, the reason we were excited about CPI is because we thought that might influence the Fed's decision-making process. And for whatever reason, I think because it was the same day, they didn't take the time to update their charts properly. I think when the next time they meet, maybe we'll finally have a dovish look. But you can see we're smacked up against resistance levels right now. So I got allergies at this point in time, guys. But, that may give Bitcoin a little bit more breathing room for the next few hours. Again, why you might be buying at this spot. However, it's just a kind of a nightmare situation right now because I was really thinking that the Fed was going to be dovish because they had been dovish so many times before. But because they felt like they maybe were getting behind the curve here, they had to adjust it. And instead of having 2 or 3 rate cuts, now the majority are saying we only want 1 rate cut. I think in the totality of everything, it'll end up being, something more along the lines of 2 rate cuts, September, November. That's still going to be my goal here. But it's definitely got the market kind of freaking out where you saw a lot of the gains we had yesterday, look at the Dow, popped up, came all the way back down. NASDAQ popped up, came a lot back down. Now the NASDAQ has some good stuff going for it, but you can see a lot of those gains were erased in their early points, even popping back up over here, still come back down. Guys, it's a challenging time right now because, again, this is kind of my bad here as far as like my thought process. Now I got to think more about Jerome Powell being much more bearish here, and it's going to cause me a lot more stress going forward. So hope to see you guys later on tonight. I'll probably be streaming from like 5 to 6. Then I'm going to head out and go to Costco and buy some groceries with my little sister. And then I'm also watching Loki because Loki hurt his leg somehow and he's limping. So I'm hoping he's going to be okay there. I'm trying to keep him from running around too much. And then I think we'll be fine. I think he just does it when he runs too much. He gets like a strain or something like that. So I'm going to try to make his strain not as strong. And I got some pills from him from the vet today. And he is going to be taking anti-inflammatory. So wish him luck here. He wants to say hello before we go, Loki. See? And then, yeah. See, his ears are all the way back down. Oh, I feel so bad. He's playing too hard. Maybe it's my fault, but I don't know. But you're such a good boy. Did you know that? See? He's a good boy with his little nose in the corner. All right, everybody. See you guys later on tonight, and thanks for watching.